What's going on, SMITE community? It's I, Nega Dre, Dre's Inferno. I'm a man of many names. And today I bring you guys a video, right? With some very trash fucking gameplay. I'm gonna hurry and toss this out there. This footage, it's old. I was trying to like put up a bit of a backlog of footage that I would later use, and I guess this was just something that I just kind of found within that huge stack. And I go 07 this game. This gonna be trash. Just listen to the sounds of my voice. This is gonna be, we can bear through this. Anyway, today I bring you guys a video where I talk about just all the things that I personally would like to see on what is it, in season 7. So a season 7 wish list of sorts. And yo, let's hurry and get this whole thing started without further ado. Actually, just a quick pause before I do peel off into this whole topic of conversation. All these are basically my opinion, just some thoughts, some ideas that hopefully high-res may possibly see, and maybe we could possibly get somewhere. But if none of you guys agree with me for whatever particular reason, feel free to toss them in the comments. If you guys do agree with me also, like, yo, toss that in the comments too. I love the support. You just saying. So, number one on my list would have to be autofill prevention. There has to be like some sort of system in place for people to not get the roles that they are not assigned to. It may be on occasion, maybe like once every 4 to 5 couple games, people do get auto-filled, or they play support to kind of make it so auto-filling is a lot less, a whole lot less likely. I'm pretty sure a lot of us have been in situations where we play these games, we're having fun, everything's good, and then like that one game comes up where, like, you know, we play mid or we play top. I mean, I was gonna say top, silly me. We play solo, and all of a sudden, shit, now we're playing jungle, now we're playing support, and now we feel uncomfortable in those roles because because those are just not our best roles, not our most optimal roles. Those are roles that we actively just cannot carry from. So, like I said, maybe put in some sort of system with autofill protection where that's a whole lot less likely to happen. I think in my own personal experience, I have gotten auto-filled in jungle at least four straight fucking games, right? I play mid primarily. I play solo as well. I'll even play fucking support. Me getting played in jungle, yo, just dodge the game. Just dodge. It's not worth it. But yeah. Autofill protection, definitely something that I feel like could be a really huge change. Definitely something that we could use. So the second thing up on my list would have to be something that I'm pretty sure a lot of people probably mentioned in their own personal wish list. But, right, items, right? Items. I cannot stress that enough. More item diversity for just really the entirety of the SMITE community. There needs to be more items for a lot of different situations. And we're gonna go a bit more into depth about it in a second. I want her to take a swig of water. Okay, we're good now. So, we're gonna toss out a couple suggestions. Wanna see what you guys think of, putting those little comments or whatever. So, honestly, possibly considering like the items that I'm about to kind of go into, things that I do want to mention, more support items, right? Like whole new start items, defensive options for the carry roles, a lot of these kinds of things where it could possibly give a whole new meta entirely just because of, I don't know, just the overall ideas of them. So I'll specify a little bit. So I'm gonna first start with like healing items, right? The only healing item we have in this game is Rod of Asclepius, right? Rod of Asclepius gives, I think, somewhere around like 200 health, gives like 90 damage, and a little bit of movement speed. Not at all a bad item, right? But It's not particularly a good item on a lot of different like supports that you would typically want to build this on. Honestly, I'll look at that item sideways whenever I'm playing something like a hell, for instance, which is kind of on my screen right now. I feel like it's okay, like kind of okay on Aphrodite, in some cases, but it's really not an item that you would overly want to build. Like especially since damage is a very key factor in how much healing you're doing. So really, there's just almost so many other things that you can definitely consider. So what I will propose is there being a healing and shield stat introduced to the game. These items would do amazing, amazingly on gods like Emoja, on gods like Hell, on the Aphrodite, things of that nature. It would make those kinds of gods a whole lot more viable in the supportive role. Uh, it's a lot of things that meant to definitely be considered when it comes to set items. Defensive options for more carry roles. So I feel like there's always been this huge issue when it comes to Smite, right? There's always that potential for you to be useful and come back because of how XP works in this game and how XP sharing works in this game. But building for an optimal situation when you are getting focused is very difficult, especially if you are playing mid, if you're playing ADC. There are no crit items that provide any sort of shielding, or any sort of like actual defenses, like while also providing damage. And that second part is kind of understandable, but I feel like there could be like some sort of crit attack speed item that provides like maybe a shield of some sort, maybe to keep you safe when, oh shit, I'm about to die. Like if the shield pops, then I'm CC immune. What is it? I get a little bit of extra health to kind of fight back a little bit, and what is it? I could probably clutch out this 1v1 or this 2v2 or whatever little skirmish that you may find yourself in. And lastly, but not least for this particular section, starter items. Starter items. So I feel as though there needs to be some sort of pivot from like these starter items being useful in the early to mid parts of the game into the late game, because most people a lot of the time end up selling these items anyway, right? And I would specifically like for these items to be for specifically jungle and support. I don't feel like the support item is all that bad. It does give the support a lot of utility, gives them a lot of sustain. Like specifically in the context of in the context of laning phase, and it's really great. It's amazing. It does work, but for the jungle role, I don't know, man. There's a whole invade meta just like surrounding that. Like a lot of people, outright just not even building Assassin's Blessing specifically because of that. So here's what I'm thinking right now. Make an entire item specifically dedicated for junglers, right? That builds out of Assassin's Blessing, and it can build into several different trees for a lot of diversity in the jungle. You have one specifically for tanks or whatever, that once you play like actual tanks and that once they build tanky items, you build something for like mages that also want to be in the jungle. So like Hepwa, maybe Chang'e, or a whole lot more viable. Their clear isn't dog shit, and also of course for the assassins, like a full-fledged fucking item specifically catered towards them. And I really feel like these these very specific like items could revolutionize the jungle. It could have a lot of people in the SPL trying new shit. Could have jungle overall being a lot more of a diverse role, and in shifting it specifically from a carry focus role to a lot more of a what is it? A lot more of a utility focus role. Like a lot of people in a lot of my games do like pick a lot of really goofy shit, so it could definitely be something that helps. Anyway, shout out to the homie Insect for thinking about this idea too. He put the video out before me, so I can't say much. And plus, I'm not all that established. Anyway, yo, definitely, I'm happy that Hi-Rez is actually considering reworking a bunch of old gods. Quite frankly, I'm tired of seeing Odins in my game that go like either like 0-10 and just do absolutely nothing, or they go fucking what is it, 10-0 and steal all my fucking kills. It's really obnoxious, right? And all like just seeing gods that are not overly useful, that don't do too much in the context of a game, in that quite frankly are alt bots. It's not fun, right? It's not interactive. It's not interesting. Just in the context of a team, in a team dynamic. Vice versa for Loki, and a couple other gods. Yeah, you're gonna tilt a couple people that are like dedicated mains, but quite frankly, if you think about like what Smite for real is built upon, people maining gods in this game, quite frankly, it's kind of unhealthy to begin with. So who are you really hurting? You know, like let's think about that. Like, who are you really hurting? But yes, definitely would like to see some touch ups on some old gods, less gods kind of being put out, and just more focus on you know, on gods just like being fixed, being put back into the meta. I think it would do a lot in attracting a lot of older fans, and also just probably bringing in like newer, possibly bringing in a new audience. Who knows? So this was going to be something I did bring up, quite frankly, but realistically, I don't overly feel the need to mention it. I was going to ask for like a lot more role diversity, but as it stands, I feel like Hi-Rez is really trying their best with that whole thing, and we've been seeing a lot of things that, at least on the higher intimate ends of play, kind of being like swapped around, like a lot of mages being played in ADC, a lot of ADCs being played in mid, a lot of a lot of guardians being put over in solo and jungle and all this other stuff. I feel like that one's a bit more open depending on the strats. So I can't really say too much on that factor. Seriously, last point but not least, right? Definitely, when new gods are brought into the game, especially for mages, I would really like for a lot of mages to have a lot more safety tools. I feel like mages nowadays really just are just not safe enough. And I think it's just mostly just because of how the map is structured. And I feel like it's like the same could kind of sort of be said for other lanes, but let's think about this, right? Every ADC has a way to get out of a fight. You're looking at Hou Yi for a second. He leaps into the air and then can go in whatever fucking direction he wants. He also has a stun. He also has an ult that slows. He has agency in ways to get out of fights. You have Jing Wei. She's known for having a shit ton of mobility. You have, You have Neith, who has a backflip, who has a root, who has a bunch of different ways that she can control a fight. But for a lot of mages, I really feel like there's not a lot of room for outplay potential. Like a lot of mages do have like dashes and things of that nature, and some mages do have a lot of damage to compensate for the fact that they can't really escape once they all in or once they drop an ulti. But it's a lot of the time like, what is it, that some of those really just won't be, I mean, it won't be a huge option. Like, once you commit, you commit. Um, Anubis is one of those examples. I guess that's kind of a bad example now because he's kind of at the top of the meta. Maybe may change depending on like when you're watching this video. Um, you have, what is it? Hell is very utility based, so it's kind of understandable that she really doesn't have any escapes. So she gets caught out. She's fucked. What is it? Gulkin. Jeez. If Cuckoo Khan is ever in a bad position, just at all, or someone decides to, like, what is it, try to find a way to pick him out of a fight, screwed. Like, and I won't say it's because of bad design or anything like that. I feel like a lot of the, a lot of gods in this game are very well designed. Things like the Scylla, very well designed. Discordia, to an extent, very well designed. She could still very much get caught out though, even if she's by her tower, which quite frankly, kind of ass. A lot of different things like that can find themselves in really shitty situations simply just because they just don't have the mobility to compete with most of their assassin counterparts. But let me know what you guys think of my little list that I've compiled together. It's been your host, Negadre, Dre's Inferno, whatever you want to call me. Drop your subs, your whatever else. I'll see you guys later.